Hello. It is October the 4th, 2016, and I've done a few days of things in my garden, and I was sitting there working in the garden, and I said, oh, I think I need to make a video. Because sometimes I get to working and I forget that I need to share some things with you. So the fall has been really good. I've harvested lots of peppers, green peppers, as well as hot banana peppers. And, you know, the radishes aren't growing as fast as I thought. They say 28 days. Well, you can do some harvest at 28 days, but my radishes hadn't gotten that large in the 28 days. And so I still have some in that little blue pot right there. Those are some that I planted the end of August. So 28 days was like the end of September. And I've been picking from them. So as I thin them, I was eating. It's like, you know, I wash them off and just pop them in my mouth because it's like 2 or 3 of them. But I've got several plantings of radishes coming up, and I'm just going to be patient. You know, sometimes we have the tendency to compare ourselves to what other people are doing. And yes, I've been gardening for a good number of years, but never really seriously. If I got tomatoes and peppers, I was happy. But this year, it's like, I want my tomatoes bigger. I want my peppers bigger. I want big leaves on my, you know, collard greens and turnips. And so one of the things that I'm learning is you got to get your soil right, and your soil so that it will feed the plants properly. But I have this year gotten more than I ever have by using my compost tea, putting in the hugelkultur beds. Even though this is their first year, I suspect that next year, 2017, will be that much better. But I want to show you some things that I'm working on today. So there's my radishes, and they're getting a little bit bigger and so on. And here's another set of radishes that are up. These are the French radishes, so they're long with white tips. And look, banana peppers, lots of banana peppers. And I'll show you my green peppers. Now, I think I told you about these green pepper plants. I planted the seeds from a pepper plant I got from the grocery store. And most of them are hybrids. And so when you plant the seeds, you kind of get the original one. So these have been like flat, like that. That one's coming down a little bit. Let's see, this is the plant that had the flat ones before. So I'm getting the banana peppers finally from this. So I'm getting some good peppers. And okay, this tomato plant needs some water, so we'll get it some water. But these are the tomato plants I planted in small pots just to see what they would do. And then here's my other plants. And yes, I'm still fighting the blight, but I'm getting tomatoes. Let's see, can we see them? Yes, so we've got tomatoes coming. So I'm happy. As long as I'm getting tomatoes, I'm going to be happy here. So let's see. And this sweet potato vine looks like it's going to die. So I may decide to harvest that maybe tomorrow. And then I'll do a few pictures on that. More hot banana peppers. And this tomato plant looks like it's got vermiculum wilt. And because the way these leaves are dying, it's like really weird. And I've been cutting them off and throwing them away. These you don't put in the compost pile. But what I've been doing over here is where I had the Brussels sprouts, and I harvested all of the Brussels sprouts, pulled them out of the ground. So what I'm doing, and this is where I had the beans, and those are a couple of cucumber plants that are not doing very well. But what I'm doing today is I'm putting a layer of compost and some grass clippings on this and just building up the bed. I am not going to do a hugelkultur bed in this particular bed. I want to try just giving it additional soil and compost and that kind of thing. So yes, I bought compost. I've got mushroom compost and I got cow manure compost, but that's, with animal things. But I wanted to share with you what happened in my compost bin. So this is my compost bin. It has been here for at least 3-4 years, and I just keep adding leaves and grass and kitchen clippings, but I never turn it. It never gets turned. And in the summer I dug down a little deeper and it's hot in the middle, but I'm getting compost from this, and that's what I wanted to tell you. I decided to clear off the grass and to go down deeper, and look at that. That is just awesome. And I go and I dig in, right? And I'm digging down, and look what I have. Just really beautiful, beautiful composted soil. So I'm just going to dig down because I kept wondering why, well, not really, but I'd put the leaves in, I'd put the grass in, and it would never get above a certain point because it was breaking down. Now I know I can go deeper and deeper, and in the spring I went from the bottom over on that side of the bin and pulled out compost for my first batches of compost tea. But so what this I'm showing you is that you don't have to turn your compost. So you just do some squares. So these are the metal poles. This is plastic fencing, and it just goes all the way around. The only thing with plastic fencing, when I had the rat problem, they would break down and tear holes in the fencing to get in. Well, I don't seem to have that rat problem anymore. And just keep loading it and loading it. And if you're in no hurry, then you can let the soil, but that's fairly close to the surface that I've broken down. So that just tells you that in the middle of the pile, even though the outside is still brown and I still see leaves, on the middle of the pile, and it's not very thick, it might be an inch into this, but it's breaking down and the compost is being made. So I think that is absolutely awesome. Those are my peas plants and some more of my sweet potato vines. But I wanted to show you that. I've got more radishes here, and I've got red onions planted here, and I've just planted in between these cabbage plants. I've just planted, no, where's that cauliflower? These are cauliflower. Just between them, I've planted carrots. So I'll see how those carrots come up. And this is my spinach. And here's some carrot plants that are coming up now. So I'm looking and doing, but I wanted to share with you the compost. So if you have been afraid to do compost, or you didn't want to turn it, or you didn't feel, and I don't have a problem with smell. Now sometimes when I'm putting kitchen scraps out, one of the things I learned to do was to take the grass and cover the kitchen scraps. That kind of kept the fruit flies away. But remember, they're still helping to break down the material for your compost. The other thing I did sometimes is I put the food in a blender and then just put it down. So there's multiple ways. Just chop up your pieces into smaller pieces and they'll break down. Now I've got corn cobs in there that I didn't break down, and there's the stems from the Brussels sprouts, and when I pull up my collards, whenever, because I may just let these stay until they decide to go to seed and then see what happens, because the ones I let go to seed and cut the seed off are still growing and giving me collards. It's like, oh, I don't have to plant these again. So I'm going to see if these make it through the winter. But I wanted to show you, I am putting the compost down. I'm putting down some of the grass clippings underneath it. And I do plan to put down some of the mushroom compost on this. And I'm getting ready to plant, let's see, what am I getting ready to plant here? I am going to plant the cabbage bok choy in this spot. Yeah, I know I've got the collar plants there too, but we will see how those come up. And we'll work on those. So that's all for today. I hope you have a great October, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.